Well, hello everyone. What an absolute pleasure it is to have the opportunity to talk to you, and a very warm thank you to Linda for going out of her way to organise this for everyone. I'm truly grateful, and no doubt you guys will learn a lot of very interesting things out of our session together today. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Daniel Rechnitzer. I'm currently based in Queensland in Australia, in a very, very beautiful part of the world, warm climate, very similar to Florida, I guess, for those of you who haven't been here. And for those of you who haven't, I encourage a trip, encourage coming down and visit us. Well, I've had an incredible journey. My whole life has really been, I guess, a transition or a culmination of understanding what works and really what doesn't. And it took a lot of what doesn't to realize what does. So my life's journey has been about uncovering many of the mysteries about the universe, many of the mysteries about what it means to be a human being, and where the true source of our potential really comes from. And many of us have been under the myth, I guess, or the illusion that our skills or our potential come from our training or our education and our qualifications. And I'm here to take you to another level of understanding where there is this sublime capability within all of us. So I've had a very rocky journey. I've learned a lot of things that don't work, a lot of bumps and bruises, a lot of school of hard knocks, to arrive at a point where there's even more learning. There's even another level, even more levels of even a deeper understanding as to how things work. And I think this is one of the most wonderful things about the world and universe that we live in, and the work that I'm involved in. Just as you think you've seen the whole picture, you get taken to a whole nother level of what is actually possible. So again, I want to thank Linda for organising this for everyone, because it is really my purpose in life to share my insights, my wisdom, what I've come to understand and learn with as many people as possible. And I thank Linda for creating that forum, and I thank everyone for joining me today. So I've written a lot about my story and these insights in a book recently released called the All-Knowing Diaries. Some of you I know have read it, and some of you are in the process. So that really goes into a lot of detail about what my journey has entailed. So I won't spend really any more time on that. So where I'd like to take everyone today is what's holding us back. Now, the topic of today's teleconference is about success beyond belief. Now, early on in my journey, I noticed these ongoing patterns in my reality, that whenever I came close to success or what I was perceiving as success, somehow, miraculously, I would manage to sabotage that success from ever coming to fruition. It could be playing a squash game, it could be selling a business, it could be helping somebody heal an illness, it could be anything, it could be simply as making a relationship last longer than 3 months. Whatever it was, I was noticing these amazing reoccurring patterns. And it became immensely frustrating to me that the goals that I had set for myself to achieve just kept moving further and further away. They became quite elusive. And then my journey took me to understanding something fascinating about a human being. That there are 3 levels to our awareness, or 3 levels to our consciousness. And these 3 levels are really the driving force to what we can and what we can't achieve. And what's interesting is, out of the 3 levels of human consciousness, that out of the many, many years or centuries, millennia that we have been on this planet, we really only give kind of time or discussion to only 2 of those levels. And those 2 levels are called the conscious awareness which is the conscious part of us that's listening and perceiving what I'm saying and your interpretation, understanding of that. And there's this other part that we talk a lot about, many of us talk a lot about, which is called the subconscious mind. But interestingly enough, very few of us understand its role, its purpose, its impact, and equally important, how to work with it. So my journey really took me into the depths of these different realities. So I want to go into each one and just shed some light to open up what it means to be a human being. So the very first one, as I mentioned, is this conscious reality. Now we're moving through life and we have conscious goals and we have conscious ambitions, conscious needs, conscious desires. And in the context of this teleconference, we're talking about building businesses, we're talking about creating fulfillment in our lives, creating fulfillment and opportunities in other lives. So we have many of these conscious goals, many of these conscious realities that we're striving towards. But what many don't realize is that at the source or at the heart of many of the decisions that we're making is not in fact the conscious mind, but in fact the subconscious mind. You see, since the time we were very young, and for many of us it started when we were in the womb, we have been creating concepts about our reality. We've been trying to devise some kind of understanding or reality, some concept of our identity. Who am I? What am I capable of? What am I not capable of? Am I liked? Am I not liked? Am I appreciated? Am I valued? Does the work I do pay off? Is it easy to make a living? Or am I destined to struggle? So since the time we were in the womb and we were born, we've been observing other people's realities, other people's perspective, other people's life experiences, other people's failings, other people's successes. And as we strive for an identity to know our place in the world, we have been adopting other people's limitations as our own. Now, I can speak very personally about this. I had many experiences from the time that I was young that led me to a very limited reality. Now, what's interesting is when you get to see the subconscious mind in all its capacity, you actually get to see something interesting, and that is that the subconscious mind represents our inner reality. So all the beliefs about ourselves, our skills, our capabilities, possibility of success, how long success takes to achieve, happiness, relationships, health and well-being, every single concept about what it means to be a human being and live in the current world is being stored within the subconscious mind. Now, some of those concepts are empowering, like those concepts that had you be on this call and be in the business that you guys are attracted towards right now, so the Arbonne business. And they're okay. Those supportive, empowering belief systems get us where we want to get to. But then there's the other side, the shadowy side, if you like. The shadowy side, by that I mean nothing negative, just I mean the opposite. So there's the other part within the subconscious mind, which is also storing the beliefs, not discriminating between positive and negative. It's housing limiting beliefs. So many of these beliefs that we've come to accept or believe that are us are actually not the truth. They're actually limiting. So those times Dad came home from work every day, tired and stressed, and Mum said, "Hey, how was work today?" "Oh, it was a drag." And as a kid, when we hear that enough times, we think, well, work is a drag. Or we see our father make bad financial decisions and he comes home and he's stressed out. Partnerships don't work. You can't trust anyone. And that becomes our intrinsic belief. Partnerships don't work. We have other experiences, other failings that leave us. We might be yelled at as a child in a classroom for daydreaming, and we get yelled at. Why weren't you listening? What's wrong with you? We take on these beliefs such as, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good with numbers, I'm not good with maths, I'm not good at business. So we take on, through all these experiences, this kind of backpack full of somebody else's reality. Now, the interesting thing about beliefs is if you go back to the very incidences where they actually occurred, you actually discover that they were made in error. The belief was simply not the truth. Now, I'm going to share a very personal one with you, if you don't mind. When I was 8 days old, I was born into a Jewish family. And many of you might know what happens to little Jewish boys at 8 days old. It's a little bit painful. But in this experience of going through, for those of you who don't know, let me just say there's a scalpel involved. But you go back to these experiences, and this is something I've had to clear in my life. This little child was trying to make sense of his reality, of his experiences. And having that experience that he had, he went, whoa, why would you do that? In trying to make sense of it, he decided in that moment, I decided there must be something wrong with me. Why else would you do that? Interesting to note, if you go back to that very incident, it was not that there was something wrong with me as to why that happened. They had their own reasons for doing that. And if you go back to every experience where a belief was formed, being yelled at by a parent, yelled at a teacher, witnessing experience from mum and dad, that was not our reality, but somebody else's experience. So interestingly enough, we've developed this identity, this reality, I call it the inner reality, that is based in error. And so many of our decisions, many of our creations, our decisions, partnering, not partnering, going for opportunities, not going for opportunities, saving or not saving, all these experiences and relationships in every area of life are being driven by this inner reality, are being driven by what we think is real, what we feel is real, or what we perceive as real. So imagine accumulating all these different beliefs about money and life, what's possible, what's not. And the minute we're thrown into an experience that reminds us of that past encounter, we hit our belief system. The belief fires and says, hang on, this is a partnership. Remember what your dad said about partnerships, they're not to be trusted. Okay? So beliefs get fired, and that's the reactions we feel in our body. I mean, how many of us react to things that people say or opportunities or certain decisions that we make? Those reactions that swell up in the body, that create tension and that heating and that prickly sensation in the body, that's you bumping up against the belief system. It's you reenacting or reacting something from the past. So every reaction is a clue to us being held back in some way or another. Very interesting. But we talk more about that in the All-Knowing Diary. So this inner reality, because it drives our decision-making, it drives the space that we experience life in, what we call beingness. It drives the beingness, which drives the very decisions we make, which dictates the very actions and behaviours we take or do not take. It creates our outer reality. So our inner reality is reflected to the letter as our life experience. If you were to take every single life experience you're having, the health and well-being that's in your body, the process of aging, your success in business, your relationships, your parenting, every single experience you're having is a direct correlation to the beliefs that you're carrying within your subconscious mind. And this is where things get interesting, because if the subconscious beliefs were made in error, what happens if we make decisions based on something that was made in error? Because they weren't true at the time. That was not our reality. That was not the truth. If we make decisions based on things that were made in error, based on beliefs that were made in error to begin with, guess what we create? We create more so-called errors. So imagine an engineer building a bridge on engineering principles that were decided upon in error. Well, the bridge would be lucky to stand. It's most likely going to fall. And that's what happens with things in our lives. We are creating opportunities based on a belief system that doesn't have all the answers. So we are walking around with this walking, talking reality system, walking, talking belief system. So what's underneath the beliefs? And this is where things get really, really interesting. But I'm going to touch on that in a minute. Because if we're not our belief system, then who are we? Now, if you're wondering what kind of limiting beliefs that you have holding you back in your life, all you need to look at is, where am I experiencing struggle, frustration, or a lack of fulfillment? Okay, wherever you're experiencing struggle, a lack of fulfillment, or hardship, is where there is a limiting belief holding back your reality. It's a very, very interesting truth. So I want to introduce something really profound here. This is the work that we do. So, wonderful to know we have limiting beliefs. That's all very handy, Daniel. Thank you for bringing that to light. And you're welcome. But what do we do about them? Well, I want to introduce to everyone an absolutely profound concept. I just want to share very, very quickly with you. I was brought up into a multi-level marketing family when I was young. My parents were in Amway, and I was very fortunate to have a lot of personal development material bestowed upon me since a very young age. And there's one thing my father always spoke about that was immensely intriguing for me. It really set me onto the journey into the work that we do now. You know, it's kind of been about 30 years in the making. He always said to me, he said, there's something interesting about our world, our reality. We get our ideas from the ether. Ideas come to us. They don't necessarily come from us, but they come to us like two inventors getting the same idea who are living on opposite sides of the world. Get the same idea at the same time. So do you want to think about that? And I did. I spent the next 25 years thinking about that. And this is what I want to bring to everyone's awareness here, this phenomenon. What we've come to call UI, or universal intelligence, or another way we've come to describe it is whole brain intelligence. Now, there's an important reason why I'm bringing this in at this point in time. Because if we're carrying all these limiting beliefs that we're not even aware of because they're subconscious to us, how do we work with them? How do we work at the subconscious level? How do we recreate or redefine our belief system so that then we can move forward without this self-sabotage? Because all the limiting beliefs act like a thermostat on a heater that switch us on or switch us off the minute we reach the extent of who we see ourselves to be. If our goal says I want to be earning $10,000 every month, but our belief system says you're only worth $1,000, when we hit that 1,000 mark, we're going to have a lot of extreme reactions in our body. And unless we're able to push beyond that, that self-sabotage is going to come in and for some reason distract us, make us get sick, make us get tired, cause a breakdown in our relationship, create some form of distraction to stop us moving beyond that $1,000 mark. And so these beliefs act like a thermostat, controlling our every behavior. We often think we're the ones in control, but in truth, these beliefs are running the show in many different ways. But as I said, some of us have very empowering beliefs, and that gets us very far. But we want to look at what are these disempowering beliefs, the limiting beliefs, so we don't get held back in our goals. So back to whole brain intelligence. I learned something fascinating on my journey. That the brain divided into two hemispheres, right brain, left brain. Many of us are familiar with that. But what I learned which is quite miraculous to me in my life and what it's created for me and for many others, is what happens when the brain becomes one, when the brain becomes whole. In a whole brain space, the brain becomes like an antenna, moving beyond the belief system, moving beyond the confines of what is known, what is believed, into an elevated space. Now, who's ever had the experience of walking into a room and feeling a vibe? There's been a fight here or anger. We've all had that experience, or we've walked into a sports stadium and we felt the excitement. Or we've thought of somebody, they popped into our thoughts, and minutes later they call us on the phone and we say, hey, I was just thinking of you. Something profound is underneath all of those experiences. And many of us are having more and more of those experiences at a deeper level. So the brain is capable of far more than what we were ever taught in school or what we were ever taught in college or university. So what I'm wanting to bring to everyone's attention here is a profound ability that will change every area of life, every area of your business. So this is called whole brain intelligence. Under a very specific condition, two hemispheres of the brain join together to work in unison as one whole brain. And for years we've heard that we're only using 5% of our brain, 10% of our brain. But no one's ever said, how to use 100%. Well, this is how we use 100% of our brain. When we go into whole brain space, we start using 100% of the brain because that's how it's intended to be used, as a whole. Like male and female coming together to create a child. Everything is coming together.
All participants have been muted, but you can unmute your line by pressing *6.
Hello everyone, just to come back there, we had a dog who was joining us on our teleconference. So, in this whole brain space, when we're using 100% of our brain becomes very, very sensitive to frequencies around us. We've got internet frequencies, mobile phone frequencies, radio, TV frequencies. But there's another frequency that's very important to all of us, one that we've neglected. And that frequency we call thought. And when we go into this whole brain space, we're able to move between the conscious into the subconscious and into the third level of our awareness, which I brought up earlier, which we call the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is who we are when we're not being our belief system. The superconscious mind is that part of you that has been guiding you intuitively to the best possible outcomes in your life. It's an interconnected field of intelligence. It's quite amazing. It's who you truly are. So if we were to remove all these layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of beliefs, of limiting beliefs, there's something infinite, unimaginable at that core. And that is that human spirit that pushes us on for more and more to strive. It's the source of our intuition. It's the source of our awakening. It is the source of those 3 a.m. genius moments where we finally get to solve that problem that we've been busting our brain to solve. It's the source of those coincidences we keep experiencing where we happen to meet the right person at that exact moment where we needed to meet them. Turn on the radio to get the message that we needed to hear in that very moment. So that superconscious mind is the real you. But it lays hidden underneath this false identity of who we've come to think we are as opposed to who we truly are. So imagine what becomes possible in your life when you've peeled away those layers of the subconscious, of the limiting beliefs, to access the real you. In sports, they call it accessing the zone. You know, in life, in certain circles, People call this the quantum field or quantum physics. To me, this is the real you. It's who you came here to be. So as we become more and more evolved and we move more and more into this whole brain space, the role the conscious mind plays changes. The conscious mind becomes more of, well, who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe what the subconscious mind is regurgitating from my past, that I'm a failure and money's hard to make, or this is the full extent of my business? Or that I am successful, but I'm not going to allow myself to feel successful yet, because behind that I've got a belief that says I'm a disappointment, and that belief is stopping me from experiencing my current successes. So we're going to believe what the subconscious mind is regurgitating from the past, or are we going to believe what the superconscious mind is saying is what's really, truly possible for all of us? And that, everyone, is the work we do at UI12, is to reconnect people to those three levels of their awareness, to move beyond who their belief system says they are and to accessing who they truly are. And that's where miracles and that's where greatness is accessed. Immense wisdom, guidance, profound knowledge is accessed at that level. Genius. That is the part of the brain that Einstein, Da Vinci, anyone who has achieved greatness in their life is accessing the superconscious mind. That is where unlimited imagination and unlimited creativity exists. It is also where the perfect blueprint to growing your business exists. Who you should contact, how you should contact them, who you need to be being about that, what space do you hold, what is possible within your business and in what time frame. Very, very interesting. The more limiting beliefs you learn how to clear, the bigger your reality becomes. Very interesting. The more limiting beliefs you clear about money, the more money you can allow into your life. The bigger the limiting beliefs you clear about your creativity, the more creative you become, and so on and so forth. And we happen to live in an extraordinary reality that matches us dollar for dollar of how big or how small we see ourselves. If we see ourselves as small with a lot of limiting beliefs, then we will experience a very mediocre experience of life. If we see ourselves as big, worthy of big things, deserving of big things, then we will experience a big life. And so that is being driven by our belief system. So something extraordinary that comes with the ability of this whole brain awareness is it allows us to perceive what is beneath our awareness, subconscious to us. So we're able to move in and out of the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, from the conscious mind into the superconscious mind, to go from what's untrue into what is true. And let me give you a beautiful example. We've achieved literally miracles in our life by having these abilities and teaching them to others. I have many, many stories to tell, and I'm going to share one of them now. One big story, and many of you will relate to because there's so many women on this line, is my wife. It was time for us to have a child, but she was petrified. She was petrified of one thing, and it wasn't to be a parent. She was petrified of the pain of giving birth. But having this ability to move around the different levels of consciousness, she looked in her subconscious mind and she saw dozens and dozens of beliefs that said birthing needed to be painful. And that many of them came back to when she was at high school and she was showed this horrific video of a woman in stirrups giving birth screaming her head off. A very common experience, which she now claims was, their version of contraception. So after clearing these beliefs that birthing needed to be painful, luckily she had time to do it, and moving beyond that space into accessing, well, what's real? Does birthing really need to be painful? Clearing those belief systems, when the time came, she had an all-natural, pain-free birth. And it was an absolute beautiful experience, a very memorable experience for her. And she's written a book about that called Natural Pain-Free Birth. I'm going to share another experience very quickly. We've had lots in all different areas of life, from business to healing to health. But one comes up to share with you. I had a colleague a client of ours called me on New Year's Eve. He rang me up from the emergency ward in a hospital. And he said, Dan, I can barely talk to you. I'm in immense agony. I'm about to go into surgery to have my gallbladder removed. Can you help? The interesting thing about whole brain intelligence, it allows you to not only move beyond your beliefs, but your brain becomes like an antenna. And all thought frequencies, we're all interacting with each other's thought frequencies. We're all directly connected. And I was able to connect in to what was at the thought in his subconscious level causing that inflamed gallbladder. I was very able to see there was a belief at the subconscious level that says, I hate myself. And holding on to that belief, I hate myself, since he was very, very young and now in his 60s, well, suffice to say, his body wasn't dealing with that very, very well. And so it was time for his gallbladder to be removed because it was so intoxicated. So our beliefs act like food poison. If we digest these beliefs from a very young age and we hold on to them, they can very adversely affect our health and well-being. Not only our physical experience, our business and relationships, but also our physical body. Because our physical body is the most direct feedback to what we believe about ourselves. So I was able to shed some light to him on this belief and let him know what the truth was and clear that belief. And during that time, we're on the phone for 15 minutes, the surgeon had come in and said, it's time to go in for your operation. In which case he said, get out. I'm on a very important phone call. 15 minutes later, all the pain had dissipated and he was discharged from the hospital. You see, our beliefs play a role at every level of our life, from our physical health to our business success. But when we learn how to move into these different levels, these different realms of our consciousness, we can rewire those beliefs and let in what's really true about ourselves. And that not only creates health and well-being in our body, creates health and flow within our businesses and in our relationships. And in this kind of business, we have many beliefs about approaching new people, about prospecting new people, going to new territories, taking money from people, introducing new lines of products. We have lots of societal beliefs that we're carrying around, beliefs that aren't ever true, that stop us from acting, stop us from moving forward. So our beliefs really create our experience of life. So I'd like to now have a couple of volunteers, if we could. I'd just like to demonstrate this whole brain ability. So what I'm going to do is we teach people how to go into their own subconscious mind and clear out the limiting beliefs. We teach that in a program we call UI12. It's a 12-week program. But what I'd like to do, because every single one of you, and I hope you got this in the email, is entitled to a free 15-minute demonstration, well, not a demonstration, you're actually going to work with one of our trained mentors who uses whole brain intelligence to help you see what is that biggest limiting belief. I'd like to demonstrate how that works, because when we go into a whole brain space, many amazing abilities become available to us. We're able to work with each other to pinpoint what is at the root cause of what is holding that person back. And this is an amazing ability, whether you're a distributor wanting to help your downlines or whether you're a distributor wanting to prospect people, you're able to look at and help somebody move through what's holding them back. Because it's not real. All those reactions people experience, oh no, I can't do that business, or I can't buy this and I can't buy that, they're being triggered by beliefs. Very rarely being triggered by the truth. So I'd like to take everyone into this realm of whole brain intelligence to open you up to what's really possible when we're using our whole brain intelligence. And this will have an immense effect on you and your business, but also in working with others. As I know many of you do work with your downlines and your actual clients, your prospects. So if anyone would like to volunteer to work with me just to demonstrate the process of a belief and how impactful they are and how that affects our lives and what that does, I'd be honoured if someone would like to. All you need to do is hit *6. If we have a volunteer to go online today with me, just hit *6.
Hi.
Hi, who's this? Linda?
It's Gabby.
Gabby, hi. Am I on speakerphone?
Yeah. Should I take you off?
Yeah, it's just creating a little bit of echo.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. How are
Okay.
you going? Do you have any questions so far about what I've discussed?
No, at all. I've worked with a lot of this stuff before, so it all makes total sense what you're saying. So it's great.
You're ripe and ready.
Yeah, I'm very ripe and ready. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what we'd like to do here is I'd like to demonstrate looking at what is a limiting belief holding you back in your business. But if there's another area or a more specific area you want me to look at, could be about prospecting, it could be about selling, whatever it is, I can look at general one or we can look at a specific. What would you like to do?
Yeah, well, something to do with my business. I mean, I'm thinking off the top of my head, but I mean, something that happened to me this fall was that I was going for a particular incentive, and it made me kind of push towards that goal. And what happened was I pushed people, loved ones, friends, family, to do, to help me or, order things or whatever it was. And I met with a lot of resistance, and it really, really knocked me back because I just felt like these people don't want this. The people I guess I'm trying to get to my belief, which is the core belief is that the people I know and the people in my life do not want this. So now I feel like I've come to an impasse.
Interesting. Well, let's have a look. Let me have a look for you and see, because these beliefs are subconscious to us. Okay, so let me just give me a minute. I'm just going to use what we call this whole brain intelligence to work with you to see what's there, if there's something beneath what you've just said, because what you said was really great, and I just want to see if there's something else hidden from view. All right, so this is the very first step of clearing a belief. So let me have a look for you. Give me 2 secs. Gabby. Okay, the belief that I get is I can't succeed without the help of others.
Okay.
You feel that?
Yes. God, yeah. No, that's making a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. I can't succeed without the help of others. So what that does is, let's have a look. Let me have a look how that plays out in your reality. Let's have a look here. How does that belief play out? What it does is, there's a couple of things that shows up for me. One is it keeps you a little bit closer to those you feel might be a little bit stronger than you, a little bit more strength, kind of the home base, rather than having you move into new frontiers where you're all alone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that familiar?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking of all the people. I'm kind of going through the list. I'm thinking, am I stronger or not stronger than that person? But I'm writing it down.
Yeah. Think you might perceive it more in terms of that you rather than putting yourself out there into new frontiers, into new people, new crowds, you kind of stick more with what's familiar. That's what I can see in the belief, in the reality there. Okay, cool. So what that does is it means that you kind of really only circle through your immediate group, your immediate network, rather than be a pioneer into new grounds, new territories. And of course, that has its impact. That has its impact on the business. So let's just have a look, and we'll see if we can clear this belief for you so everyone can understand how this process works. So let me go a little bit deeper here. Let's see what's there. Okay, what shows up is that this belief originated from, it's almost like this conversation. It might not literally be this, but it looks like a conversation with you and your mother, or someone with quite a strong feminine energy there, going, support one another. That's what a family does. We support one another. You've got to make sure you're here for one another. Can you feel that? Yeah, that
makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, great. So So then as a child, we go, oh, yep, okay, I've got to be supported and I've got to give support, and that's, don't stray from that little network, that center.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go a little bit deeper. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some more truth on this. So what is the truth for Gabby on this is, it's like the words support and comfort zone were almost interchangeable in that conversation. And yeah, so it's like, it's almost like your mother was really saying, stay within the comfort zone, stay within the comfort zone.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens is our parents' reality gets passed down onto us, and as a child, not able to access the superconscious, we take on their new reality. So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's see what we need to clear this belief for you. What's the truth for Gabby is, the truth is you thrive out of your comfort zone. You find your comfort zone boring. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this. So what happens is, consciously you love to be adventurous. You love to go, kind of be out there. But subconsciously, there's this kind of rope or shackle that goes, yeah, but don't go too far. Don't go too far. Come back in, because that's what's safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you should do. Okay, so let me see if there's another layer of truth there to clear this for you. What else is the truth? It just keeps showing up. You're fulfilled out of your comfort zone. You're fulfilled when you're pioneering new things. Let's see, there's another layer of truth. Can we remove that belief for Gabby? Let's see what's holding Gabby back from that belief. Okay, so there's something that's holding you back from shifting that belief it's like, but what about my friends? If I'm out of my comfort zone, I'll leave everyone behind.
Yep.
So you can see that we've got these beliefs that are pulling us in the opposite direction. So you want to move forward, but there's a part of you saying, no, you're betraying your family. You need to come back. You need to stay in your comfort zone. And then when you want to go even more forward, but there's a part of you going, but I can't leave everyone behind. That's just rude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sure many listening can relate to this. So let's go a bit deeper and let's see, well, what's keeping that intact? Okay, what's the truth behind not about leaving people behind? So let's go a bit deeper. What's the truth? Why is Gabby holding on to that truth? If I leave people behind, I'll be all alone. So it's almost like coming back, being circular. Let's see, can we go even deeper to the truth there? If I'm all alone, I'll fail by myself and I'll be miserable. That's the next layer. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, let's go a bit deeper here. What's the truth behind that? If I succeed on my own, I'll be criticized. Can you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, next layer. I feel we're almost there. Next layer for Gabby is, what's the truth behind that? I don't want to see myself as someone who has succeeded by stepping all over others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay,
yep.
Good. Almost there. Let's see, what's the next one? What's the truth behind that? Yes, it's not nice to leave others behind. What's the next truth? Can we go even deeper to clear this belief for Gabby? Let's see, one more here is... Success is lonely. Success is lonely.
Wow.
There you go. All right, let me see. Can we clear this up? Success is lonely for Gabby. What's the next layer behind that is... I don't really want to be successful if it means I have to leave everyone behind. Oh, and it's like your subconscious mind isn't actually letting you clear this. There's a part of you that's going, no, at the end of the day, I don't want to be successful if that's what this means. So let me see if I'm allowed to go deeper. It might just have to happen in your session with one of the mentors. Let's see if we're allowed to go deeper with Gab on this subconscious mind. Yeah, we can. Let's see, what's the truth? It just feels a little bit judged at the moment. So let's see, can we shift that? What's the truth behind a woman? I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of failure. So it's an out. It's just showing me it's an out, that if you don't want to be successful because you're going to be alone, that really stops you from trying. It means you won't ever fail.
Mhm.
All right. So for Gab listening and for everyone listening, you can see how beliefs are holding us back. Behind, you wouldn't believe it, no matter how ambitious you are, behind these beliefs, there is this, but success is lonely. Layer, success is lonely. Which is ultimately, I don't want to be seen as a failure because then I'm a disappointment to my family.
Mhm.
How are you going? You all right over there?
Yeah, no, this is stuff that I've dealt with before in different ways, so it would be great to clear it. I wish my subconscious would let you clear it.
Yeah.
This is not news at all, but it's frustrating that I haven't been able to shift this.
Yeah, well, it's giving me as much of a hard time as it's been giving you. So let's see if there's something in the way. Let's see what the and it's very interesting, Gabby, to listen. There's always a vested interest. There's some reason why we stay attached to a belief or attached to an illness or attached to a particular outcome. So let's have a look and see if we can go a bit deeper with you and see, well, why is Gab holding on to this one? Why? Let me go a bit deeper for you. Why is Gab holding on to this? Why are you holding on to this one? Okay. Can we go a bit deeper? The next thing that showed up is I want to prove to my friends. It's like you're showing them that they're not alone in not moving out of their comfort zone. You're wanting to show them it's like, when you're a kid, this is kind of a loose metaphor for you. When you're a kid and your friend says, I didn't do my homework. Did you do your homework? And sometimes if you said, yeah, I did my homework, you almost felt bad because they now feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
But if you said, yeah, I didn't do my homework either, and together you felt much better over it.
Mm-hmm. Misery loves company.
Yeah, it's like
kind of.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
You got it?
Yep.
All right. Let me see if there's any other messages for you on that one. Yes, the final message for you on that one is that if you were in a dark room, right, and it was you and your friends, now, if you've got a light and you go, you know what, they're all in darkness, I better turn off my light so they don't feel intimidated, what happens?
Yeah.
Everyone's in darkness. We often feel to shrink makes people not feel intimidated. Now, if you turn on that light, your light, what happens?
If I do turn it on?
Yeah.
Everyone. Yeah.
Everyone can see. So you're not doing anyone favors by turning off your light. This is the fastest way to having your friends be successful and seeing who they truly are and having the company that you've always wanted. By diminishing your light, you'll always end up without that company. By turning on your light, you're going to have all these people growing and succeeding because you are the light to them. You're showing them the way. Okay. Great work. Well, take a minute to process that, and in your 15-minute session, just see if you need to go a little bit deeper. It feels just kind of mull over that one for a minute and let everything we've done integrate.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you'd just like to hit *6.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Thanks, Gab. Awesome volunteer. I know everyone is clapping for you, but they're all on mute, so we can't hear that. Wonderful. Great. All right. So this is just a very quick demonstration of how, a couple of things we demonstrated. One is how our beliefs that many of us aren't aware of, and Gab's obviously aware of some of those, and she's been able to go deeper with some of those, but beliefs many of us aren't even aware of are affecting our performance. They switch us off, like I said, like the thermostat. And what's interesting about GAB's ones, you trace them back, it's actually counterproductive to what you think at the subconscious level the belief is actually achieving. So we think we should keep these things in place because it's going to get us somewhere. But when you peel it back, you actually find it's completely counterproductive. So the belief is actually creating the loneliness instead of the company, the crowd of equal successes. So that's a very quick demonstration on the power of beliefs. There's also an important demonstration on how we're able to go into a whole brain space, how it's able to work with GAB at a subconscious level. And I've never met GAB before. We've never had a conversation before. But when we go into this whole brain space and the brain acts as an antenna, we're able to connect to each other, brain to brain, and immediately diagnose or access what is the biggest limiting belief holding me back in life? What is the biggest limiting belief holding me back from prospecting, from taking people over the line, from going out into new territories and pioneering new areas? What's stopping me from being my success beyond my beliefs? So I'm present to the time here. I just want to open the lines and ask anyone if they have any questions. See if we can now go to some question time.
This is Diane. I have a question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Diane, that's okay. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to
Sure.
I just want to make a couple of announcements before we go to questions, because sometimes people finish during the question time. So before we go on to the questions, I just want to mention a few things to everyone. Every one of you can learn how to access that subconscious realm and clear your limiting beliefs on your own. Just like my wife did about pain-free birth, and just like what we do in business to create huge successes, you learn how to do that. We teach that in a program. So I want everyone to just grab their pen and paper, and we'll put this on an email to you anyway, but grab your pen and paper and just write down, I'm going to give everyone a web address. And the web address is U for umbrella, and then I for igloo, UI, the number 12, and then .tv, as in television, .tv, UI12.tv. So I want everyone to make some time to have a look at that. We teach how to clear your limiting beliefs for yourself. So we do that as an online program, and it looks like we're also coming to the States in January. So we might be able to coordinate. I'm hoping we can coordinate with everyone some live training as well. So please let Linda know or let us know if you'd like to be part of that. But we will be starting that program in January. We also do a free course at the beginning, you'll see on that website, where we teach you how to tap directly into your superconscious mind. That is a free program. And the reason that is free, as valuable as that is, it is our purpose to teach people how to access their true self beyond the belief system. So coupled together, those two programs just make you absolutely unstoppable. And as you go through some of those other weeks, it's a 12-week program, you'll get to see some amazing other abilities that become available to you when you're being your true self, when you're not constrained by your belief system. So take some time to do that. And what I've demonstrated is working with GAB today is the ability, because of our practitioner training, which many of you distributors might like to do, to help your downlines to actually work with them and coach them from the deepest possible profound level to show what's holding them back. And to be able to do it, immediately access the immediate belief. No trial and error, no guesswork, no intellectualizing, just connecting brain to brain. Yes, Diane, I'd love to answer your question. Thank you for being patient with me then.
I think what I struggle with is pretty common with a lot of women. I was raised in a very strict military household where good manners were very important, and nice girls don't put themselves forward.
Yes, very common.
So that's my big issue is I know that I want the success, I have in my head what I want. I'm not afraid of winning. I'm not afraid of the success. But my issue is approaching people, and, good girls don't do that.
Well,
how do you get beyond that?
Yeah, well, you need to know what the belief is, and the belief that's underneath that is I'm a disappointment. So what happens is when you're taught nice girls don't come forward and anything to do with that, it's like, well, if I do that, I will disappoint the strict upbringing, the views and values of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear of being a disappointment is much stronger than the desire and urge to achieve success. So you're going to be able to work on that in your 15 minutes. So we're going to be sending out the contact details to the mentors who are going to work with you for the 15 minutes. You'll be able to clear that with the mentors.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to go very, very deep. If it's a very deep belief. It's a very big one. I'm a disappointment. So you'll be able to definitely make some inroads with that. And for everyone, there's many different beliefs that hold us back. So if you don't do it in the 15 minutes, then hey, you can definitely learn how to do it yourself, or you can get them to do some longer sessions with you. They'll definitely do some paid sessions. So that's what I'm feeling there is it's just the fear of being a disappointment is just outweighing the drive for success.
Okay.
All right. So in the 15 minutes, just write this one down. Go to the mentor and say, hey, this is what came up with Daniel on the call. Can we address that first?
I think what I need to do is try to do some one-on-ones with some of the really amazing women who have either overcome that or didn't have it in the first place.
So did you not like my suggestion? What happened then?
What's that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
My suggestion was you're going to have a 15 minutes as one of these UI mentors who will be able to work with you at the subconscious level.
Right. Yeah. I guess
that's the starting point. And then you said to me you need to work with other women who have overcome it.
Right.
So did you see your belief defied right there and then?
I saw the belief what?
The belief, that sabotaging belief just fired just as you and I were talking. Instead of
yeah.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
And that right there, that's how powerful the beliefs are. We don't even know it. It plants an idea in our head. No, let's not do what that suggestion is. Let's go in another direction.
Yeah.
Well done.
I don't even know, it's just so ingrained. It's like I picture myself going out and talking to people, and it's like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing, and thanks, see you later.
Yeah. Well, look, you're going to enjoy that session. So you know if you don't make that call, if you don't connect with them, it's just your self-sabotage.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big word for it, and it's the right word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. So that's the next steps. Great. Well, well done.
Thank you.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure. I might take some more questions if you'd like to hit *6 down there. If anyone else would like to ask a couple of questions, happy to answer anything here. Just hit *6 to come online.
Hi, Daniel. It's Linda Balaban.
Hello. I felt that was going to be you. How are you?
How did you know? I'm very well. Thanks so much for doing this. It was really wonderful, and thanks to Gabby, who I think might have had to jump off, but I thought she was wonderfully brave.
She was.
My question is, I look forward to my 15 minutes of fame.
Oh, great. You'll love it.
Yeah, but is where can we access the free program that you mentioned? Is it clear on the website, and is it connected to your first book, which I'm almost finished with, and I do the practice in the back of the book, the three steps every morning now, and I'm really learning how to access that Is it the same as the free program that's
yes,
on the website?
Yes,
okay.
yes. What it is, the program that we're going to be doing, the first program that is free, you can access it through the All-Knowing Diary, such as you've just mentioned there, which is at the back of the book. And the All-Knowing Diary gives you obviously that great background to what you're doing and why you're doing it. The free program, if you go to www.ui12.tv, and if you scroll down, you'll see week 1. As I said, it's a 12-week program. Week 1 is the free module. So whether you want to do that module or whether you want to do all 12, just select quantity number 1, register yourself there, click, the next step, and register into that, and that will be a webinar in January. And that will be the best way to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
So, you're welcome. Do you have any more questions, or before we...
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah.
That
Does anyone
can't
else
be
have any
answered
questions?
in a 15-minute session.
Just before we wrap up, I'll take one more question. Just hit *6. All good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel that I've definitely opened up another level or a new level of understanding, a new realm of a whole new line of questions. So what we'll be doing from here, we'll be emailing you out the details of the person to get the 15-minute mentor, to get the 15-minute session from. They've all been trained by me. They're very, very advanced, very, very incredible skills. And you'll be able to get in contact with them to do the session. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope we do get to work with many of you again in the future. We're hoping to come to the USA in January, and we're hoping to really help you guys grow and evolve your business. So look forward to meeting you all in person. Thank you, Linda, once again.
Bye, everybody.
If you want to hit *6 and say goodbye or share anything, please do.
Can we share the recording with prospects?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great.
Hello?
Anyone else?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Daniel.
You're
that
welcome.
Was terrific, Daniel. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Hey, Daniel, thank you. This is Nancy from Montreal, and certainly opened up our brains a little bit to get us thinking quite a bit.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
You.
Yeah, it's even more fun when we get to teach you how to do it. So that will be the next one.
Well, I'm sure certainly a lot of curiosity there on my end.
Awesome.
It certainly got me thinking quite a bit.
Oh, well,
thanks.
That's great. There's a whole other level of operating, and we hope we get to the opportunity to share it with everyone.
Well, thank you again.
Thanks, Nancy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Anyone left? Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, everyone, for having me, and thanks for being on the line. And we'll put the recording up on the web, and we'll send you guys the link shortly.
Thanks so much, Daniel.
All right, Linda. We'll chat to you very soon. Thanks again for organizing today.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.